All right, hello everybody, and thank you for watching this little video. I just wanted to kind of take a few minutes to interview the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ryan Beile from Homestead Financial. That's you, buddy. And I wanted to ask Mr. Beile all about pre-approvals. Okay, and so thanks for being here with me today, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
By the way, Ryan, I think I've known you now as long as I've known anyone else in real estate, right? It must have been maybe 15 years or something.
At least, I think, yeah, if not a little bit more.
Yeah, cool. So I'm excited to do this video with you because I actually have questions myself too. You know, a lot of times I like to do these videos to help, our potential clients or clients, whatever, answer some of the questions they had, but I have questions too. And so today we're going to be talking about pre-approvals, which is basically this like black hole that you meet with your a potential client buyer meets with their realtor, right? We talk about how many bedrooms and bathrooms you want, what school district you want to be in, all that kind of stuff. And then we say, at least I say, hey, I work with a lot of friends and family. One of the things that I think is important for you to know is that I personally will never ask you anything about your money. I don't need to know how much you make, how much you have, whatever. All I want to know from you is how much are you comfortable spending on your property? And so we say, call Ryan, right? And so then they call you and this black hole of information or whatever happens, and then out chugs this pre-approval letter that me and the buyer then use when we go put an offer on a house, right? And so I've got questions.
Okay.
And so thanks for being here. The pre-approval letter from my perspective is important because when we're making an offer, although it's not a requirement technically to have a pre-approval letter to make an offer, it's a requirement basically in practice, where the listing agent always wants a copy of the pre-approval letter essentially, and so that they know that the buyer who's making an offer is qualified.
Right.
And especially now when a lot of buyers find themselves in situations where there's a multiple offer situation, you want to have that pre-approval letter in hand right now so we don't have to wait. Well, with Ryan, we won't be waiting that long for the pre-approval letter, but we don't have to wait at all for the pre-approval letter before we can submit our offer because time is of the essence, right? And so a lot of times the listing agents are comparing multiple offers and they have to, they basically have to figure out a way to get rid of some of the offers and ultimately choose one. And if there's someone who is not pre-approved or is using some weird out-of-town lender that they've not heard of or an online-based lender or whatever, they're often likely not to want to deal with it, And so that's why, Ryan, I like working with you because you're local, your company's local, and, we don't really need to go into, unless you want to, some stuff about Homestead Financial and, how you guys have local underwriting and all that kind of stuff, but this is all about pre-approval. So had a lot to say there. Ryan, let me ask you, I send someone to you, they call you, and what is that process? What is the pre-approval process?
Well, we have two ways they can do it. I can take all their information over the phone, or I have a website, homeloanarranger.com, that they can go to. And some people like to do that, especially with the kids at the house and, husband's social security number and his salary. And they may not all know that one person on the phone. So they can do it online, and it's secure, it comes over. And it comes quick, so they can do it and I can pull it almost immediately. Yeah.
Homeloanarranger.com, that's your site? That's kind of like your tagline, right?
www.homeloanarranger.com.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the first step, is getting all the information.
What kind of stuff are you asking them for?
Like, kind of normal things: name, address, social security, date of birth, 2 years residence, 2 years employment, any gaps, how much do you make, all the basic loan application questions, really. And that kind of gives us the look, right, of this file. And then I can ask little things afterwards that may fill in some blanks, but
okay.
Yeah.
And the other option you're saying is they can just call you and you guys have what's probably kind of a long conversation, and you if they're ready for it. Otherwise, you can kind of give them a list of what they're going to need, I guess.
Absolutely. So yeah, like if they have it all now, then by all means, let me get a piece of paper. I'll write it all. Or I can open my laptop and kind of just do it all over the phone.
Uh-huh.
Whatever's easier. And some people have it like that, you know. I
Yeah.
don't. My family probably does. We might have to, go find some information. But yeah, it all works that way.
They're kind of surprised sometimes by how much information is needed to get a loan. And I'm surprised that they're surprised. I'm like, so you want somebody to give you, $200,000 or whatever, and you're surprised that they want to verify that you have employment or something like that? I think that's surprising, but I guess you're saying you're not asking for anything weird. It's kind of all the normal loan stuff.
Yeah, some of the weirder stuff may come like later on during the process, the loan process. And when I say weird, I just see more things to prove random things, right? Not everyday stuff. Um, but yeah, in the beginning, it's regular questions. I'm also surprised by that sometimes, but a lot of people, they don't do this very often. It's not like you buy a house every week or every month or every
Sure.
year or every 5 years, right? Some people. So there is a lot of information that we need that they just maybe forget or don't realize. And that's kind of part of my job, is to set some expectations up front and let them know, look, we're going to need some stuff from you, so that they're not freaking out during the process.
So when we receive this pre-approval letter, there's kind of like some contingencies on there for you guys about the information that you might still need to gather?
Yeah, so it'll say contingent upon verifying all of these financials that we've received from them. So, their pay amount, assets that they may have, times and dates and stuff like that.
Okay. And then once you've gathered all that information, you send me this pre-approval letter, then we can go forth and make an offer on a property. I guess behind the scenes is Homestead has these people called underwriters who are basically auditors, right? Who are then going to kind of look through that data, and they want this person's financials to sort of tell a story. And that's where the weird requests come in, I guess.
Yeah. So that's when they'll, like, something will pop up, or something from the past, or an inquiry on the credit, or some weird deal will come, and then we'll just have to explain it, or whatever we have to do to move past or check that off the list. Yeah, so when we get these pre-approvals, like you said, they have those contingencies. But as you were saying earlier, in this market, there's so many multiple offers and different things, right? So the pre-approval is a very quick deal that we can do. But in this market, it's probably good. And what I like to do is give them a list of things that I need, even preliminary things that will at least back up some of those things that we have, which in turn makes their pre-approval a lot stronger than just the basic letter that's out there, right? And you may need that when you're putting your offer in, for multiple offers. But we like to try to look at some of that stuff, so their pay stubs and their W-2s, and make their pre-approval actually real, as opposed to just a piece of paper. May help in
Okay.
their buying process.
And that's important as listing agents when we receive these, that we look at them and we want to know that some of that stuff has been verified, So Ryan, what's the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification letter?
Well, you can get a pre-qual is the initial first step. You give the information, we plug it in, the numbers work. Here you go. The
Pre-qualified. Okay.
So to get totally pre-approved would be actually, verifying some of that information and getting it checked off the list, and knowing their income, their assets, those things. Sometimes we'll put it through to the underwriter and have them look it over, so that that deal is almost ready to go. It just needs a contract and, dollar amounts, and can go through.
I have a friend that I was talking to recently, and he owns a business. And one of the things that he thought was super, well, from him, it was frustrating, you know, and he thought that specific lender was like, you know, doing it wrong or whatever. But because he owns a business, he had to give a lot more proof of his financials and all this kind of stuff, because I guess they see him as being riskier. But the thing that was interesting to him and his point was that the guy that works for him, he'll have an easier time getting a loan, you know, because his finances, you know, in this case are simple, right? He's got a W-2 and you guys, or not you guys, that actually wasn't, I think this was maybe a business loan he was talking about, but it was much simpler for his employee to get a loan than it was for him, even though in theory, you know, he has more money and they both have the same risk, right? If the business shuts down, they're both out of a job.
Right.
So that's interesting how that works.
Yeah, it is. It seems a little, when you put it that way, it seems a little backwards, right? But yeah, when you're self-employed, as you know, there's a lot more to your finances than just collecting a paycheck that has the taxes already out of it, of a set salary that you're contracted for. You know what I mean? There's way more variables, and the underwriting's taking that, you know, and they're looking through all of those to kind of get to the real stuff. So yeah, it becomes a lot more intricate, and you get some of that from the self-employed borrowers too, because they're like, wait, what do you mean you need this?
Right. Haven't I given you enough?
Right.
I have enough in my bank account that I could pay cash for this house, right? You get that a lot.
I've heard that, yeah.
And then you're like, well, but you're not. So we're kind of in COVID times. That's why we're not sitting next to each other right now. But is it taking longer now because of all this stuff to get the pre-approval or the pre-qualification? Or is this not really affecting that?
No, the initial one is the same. It's the same information. I can take their information and verify myself, and to make that a little stronger. It would be more difficult to have underwriting go through it right now because of how busy they are and, you know, backed up everything is with the COVID. But getting pre-approved is typically the same process as it always was.
Okay. And just to touch on this backed up thing, it's not like Homestead Financial that's just backed up, right? It's like all bankers, all lenders in general, because there was this weird perfect storm of it being the hottest time of the market. There was super crazy low interest rates for a minute, and then COVID happened, right? And this is like this perfect storm of, oh my gosh, the underwriters are like, their files are getting stacked up bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The list, and it's not just us, it is everyone, the big banks, the, you know, mortgage companies, everybody's kind of jammed up.
Okay. You guys are a broker versus a bank, is that right? Mm-hmm. And so if I call you to get pre-approved or pre-qualified, you're not necessarily going to do the loan through Homestead. You might end up doing it through blah, 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 blah. And so you guys did that strategically because you like having options. Is that right?
Yeah. And we actually close the loans with our money. So that way we can do it quickly for the purchase process and the buyer, and close everything. And then we'll package it and, you know, sell it off to a servicer or investor. So we kind of do both, right? We close it with our money so that everything goes quick, on time closings, you know, everything, and then we'll push it on.
Well, you know how realtors are, right? We call you, we go, we got this guy with low credit and no job. Can you do it? And we've got this lady, she's a teacher with a lot of money but bad credit. And we've got this other guy with tons of money, you know, but a wife who lives in Spain or whatever, and like all these weird scenarios. And I'm thinking that by you guys being brokers, it gives you more outlets, because you have this lender who will do this kind of deal, this lender who will do that type of deal. Is that right? And
most
different people will take different credit scores and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly right. We have different options that, you know, if I was just sitting in a brick and mortar, I may not have, because I only have one program or one way.
Okay. Well, you know, we don't have to keep this video super long, although I do like talking with you. But I think the point that I'm wanting people to know is, A, what is a pre-approval or a pre-qualification, but also the importance of it. And so I think that especially right now with this crazy COVID stuff happening, you know, buyers agents, the agents that are helping buyers, they don't want to show properties to someone that they don't know can afford the property, essentially, right? Because we're kind of like risking our lives, quote unquote, by going out and showing properties to people. And so their pre-approval letters are becoming even more important than they already were, on top of, you know, the listing agents, of course, not wanting to accept an offer without a pre-approval letter. But Ryan, I'm seeing now some listing agents are saying you can't even show the house until I've received a copy of the pre-approval letter. So it's kind of interesting how that's all going on out there. How do people get a hold of you other than homeloanarranger.com?
I like that. Do you think I could use that?
Absolutely. You have the rights here. I'll give them to you right now.
Yeah, the easy way, www.homeloanarranger.com. My cell phone's 314-322-3776. And that one is the best because you can call me, text me. That's another thing about not sitting at a brick and mortar. I don't have normal hours, just like you, as you're aware. You know, we'll be doing pre-qualifications and pre-approvals on the weekends or 8 o'clock at night or any of that kind of stuff. So the cell phone kind of runs the whole deal.
I love it. And this has given you, you know, the opportunity to, now you do work 24 hours or whatever, but it's given you the great opportunity to be able to be at kids' soccer games and all that kind of stuff, you know? And for example, ever since this COVID thing happened, our company went from having basically monthly meetings to daily meetings. We're doing these daily Zoom calls. And as you know, because you're on there every single day, and I want you to know that I do sincerely appreciate that, because it's really important for our agents to be able to ask you these questions on a daily basis. You know, the simple ones like what are rates, you know, but like what's going on with this? What's happening with that? And it's been awesome to have this relationship with you where most of the stuff that I've spat at you today as if I'm informed is stuff that you've taught me. So I appreciate that, Ryan. Yeah,
well, thank you. I appreciate it too. It's good to be involved with all that because you see all the different things that come up and maybe things that I should look for and stuff like that too.
Totally. Yeah, it's been great. So I look forward to working with you. And hopefully for anyone watching, you give Ryan a call. Can you say your number again? 314-322?
Yeah, 314-322-3776.
3776. Homeloanarranger.com. All right. Thanks, Ryan. I'll let you go. I appreciate you being on here, and we'll take care.
Yeah, thank you. See you.
Bye-bye.